Hello, everybody. My name is William McKinnon, and today I'm going to teach you Module 7, which is all about designing and delivering effective pitches and presentations. I actually thought this was one of the more interesting and useful modules because almost everyone will have to give a presentation at some point, whether you're going into sales, marketing, business, or honestly any career. Even if you're not selling a product, you're always selling ideas, whether that's during an interview, presenting a project, or trying to convince your boss to support an idea. This module mainly focuses on two things. First, how to create a really effective elevator pitch, and second, how to organize and deliver a presentation that actually keeps people's attentions. I'll go over both of those today and explain why they're important. The main goals of this module is to teach us how to communicate clearly and confidently. There are really three big learning objectives. The first is learning how to create an elevator pitch. That basically is a quick present introduction that explains who you are and the values you bring. The second goal is learning the six slide framework from sales presentation. Instead of throwing together random slides, the professor gives us a structure that's easy to follow and makes presentations flow naturally. The third goal is learning how to actually deliver those presentations. A lot of people build good PowerPoints, but then they stand there and read every single bullet point. The professor explains that this is one of the fastest ways to lose your audience. So really, this module isn't just about making slides, it's about learning how to communicate with people in a way that organizes confidence and makes it easy to understand. What is an elevator pitch? One of the biggest topics in this module is what is an elevator pitch? An elevator pitch is basically a really short introduction that explains who you are, what you do, and why someone should care. It's called an elevator pitch because it should be short enough that you could tell someone while riding an elevator together. You don't have a lot of time, so you need to go straight to the point. The goal isn't explaining every detail about yourself or your company. The goal is to simply make someone interested enough that they want to keep talking to you. I also think this is useful outside of sales. If you're at a networking event, career fair, internship interview, or even introducing yourself on the first day of work, having a good elevator pitch helps you make a strong first impression. Instead of sounding awkward and unsure, you sound prepared and professional. The next thing is the four parts of a great pitch. The professor gives a really simple template that breaks an elevator pitch into four parts. First, introduce yourself by your name and your title. Second, explain who you work for. If it's a company people probably don't know, you can briefly explain what the company does. Third, explain who you normally help. This is important because it helps people immediately understand whether your service applies to them. Finally, explain one or two problems you solve or benefits you provide. I like this format because it's really simple, but it covers everything someone needs to know without overwhelming them. For example, instead of just saying, I work in marketing, you might explain that you help businesses reduce advertising costs while improving customer engagement. That's a lot more memorable because it focuses on the values you're providing instead of just your job title. Next is the six presentation slides. After you've gotten someone's attention in the elevator pitch, the next thing is a presentation. The professor provided recommendations using six different slides. The first slide is usually a title slide. It introduces the topic and lets everyone know they're in the right meeting. The second one is the overview. This gives people a roadmap, so what you'll be covering. The third slide is your company's background. Instead of listing random facts, you're just trying to build a credibility and show why someone should trust you. The fourth slide focuses on the customer's obstacles or problem. This is really important because before start talking about your product, you should show why they actually should have interest in your product and how they're struggling with their current customers. The fifth slide explains your solution and how your product benefits them. And this is where you connect your product and service to the customer's problem. Finally, the last slide is covering pricing and value. Instead of only throwing and talking about costs, you can explain why the investment should be worth it. One thing I liked about the structure is that every slide builds on the previous one. So it feels more like telling a story instead of just jumping around random ideas. To present like a pro, you need to use talk tracks. And the professor explained that these are having good bullet points and to get your things along. Instead of having to memorize a whole speech, if you go track like bullet point by bullet point, it guides you and reminds you what you want to say without forcing you to memorize every sentence. I think this is very important because it prevents you from not like reading the slides while also helping you make good eye contact. And it really focuses to present like a pro, you need to have good examples. And then the next topic was always ask for the order. At the end of a pitch or anything, the worst thing you can do is to not ask. So you really should always ask. This is something that seems obvious, but apparently a lot of salespeople forget to actually ask for the business. After explaining your solution and showing the value, you should confidently ask the customer about the next step. That doesn't mean asking them to buy immediately. Sometimes it might be just scheduling another meeting, starting a free trial, or requesting a proposal. The important thing is ending with a clear action. Otherwise, the presentation can feel unfinished and the customer may leave without knowing what you're supposed to do next. My major key takeaways were keep your pitch simple, focus on customer values, and present confidently. And always finish with a call to action, even if it's just having another meeting or maybe a quick little talk or just having access or giving them the info to like reach out to you if they really want to reach out. You never want them to feel like they can't reach out to you and that you're not there to really help them because your main goal is to make them happy as they are the customer.